Hi everyone, my name is Sergey. I'm a Rhino tutor, and now I'll show you how to create a tube jointer. Okay, here is the initial state of the file, and you can see multiple curves that will help you to create surfaces and solids. Let's create a few layers. Steel and polymers. And inside steel, let's create a few sublayers. Outer shell and inner shell, and also grip ring, cylinders, and bolts. Let's place these layers here. Inside polymers, master layer, let's create resin part and spacer. Okay, you may want to change layers color. I do it in a random manner. Alright. The first thing we will be doing is outer shell. Okay, let's go to this layer, make it active, and type in revolve. Please find this profile and select it. Then let's choose this axis and create such a thing. Okay, let's go to shaded mode, and we'll find that the revolve has been created. Now let's go to top view and find this shape, and with the help of this shape we will create a hole inside this new surface. Let's type in trim, select this shape, press enter or spacebar and point here. Let's go back to perspective. Fine. Okay. Now let's join them, and after let's go to front view and type in mirror with copy option turned on, and let's create the bottom part. Since they are surfaces, we could join them with join command. Now they are a single object, and let's create surface offset. Offset surface command, and now we'll be taking it inside this distance equals to 1.2 millimeters with solid option turned on, and delete input. Okay, that's it. Now let's create edge fillet here and at the bottom part. Firstly, let's type in the radius 0.6, and let's use chain edge selection that allows us to select poly curves. And let's do the same here. Chain edge. That's it. Okay, now let's create a wing. And firstly, we need to place a new layer, wings, and place it to steel master layer. Let's go here and change layers color. And before we extrude, we need to create a point. somewhere here. And we need to split this curve into parts. First click on split an object. Then let's select a cutting object, and that's it. We have two parts. Now let's create an extrude curve command. Actually, we don't need both sides option. And as a destination point, let's use this base of filleting. Let's do the same here. Alright, then we need to create holes, one here and another one here. To do so, we need to place Z-plane with 3-point option. It's not so important which position Z-plane takes, just place it here. Then let's type in project, select curve first and surface second. Here we have projection to the surface. Now let's type trim, select this, and point on the part we want to cut. Let's do the same here. Place Z-plane. Project. That's it. So now let's type in trim and point on this part. Let's restore the Z-plane position by pressing here to name Z-planes. If you don't have one, please find it here. Name Z-planes. And we need the first option, roll top. Okay, now we are ready to join these two parts together. Then let's create offset, surface offset, because we want to thicken it with distance 1.2 and direction inside. Let's press enter. In this part, we will create a fillet. So let's find fillet edge command, type in the radius 2.4 and point on the edge we want to soften. Alright. Now we want to create welding points here. So let's select this object, this one and this line, and isolate them. Actually, we have here surface conjunction, so by typing in the edge, we could extract an edge. Let's change the color, because it's similar to selection. Now it's much better. So here we have the line, and we need to shorten it somehow. Let's say this length. Okay, then we need to place a Z-plane here. And to do so, let's copy this line to clipboard with Command-C on Mac and Control-C on Windows. And now we'll be rotating in 3D with axis being placed on this red line to 90 degrees. Now we are ready to place the Z-plane here with 3-point mode. Place base point here on the intersection, red axis here, and green one here. So we have this Z-plane. If you want, you may save the position. Welding points. So lately, you could change this position. Okay, actually we don't need this line anymore. And let's pass the first line by pressing Command-V on Mac and Control-V let's divide this curve into 4 parts. So here I need to place number of segments, and as a result I have these points. Actually, I don't need this line anymore. So now let's place a circle to the bottom with diameter 1.2. Very small circle. Okay. So now we need to move it slightly towards us. And then we need to create extrude tapered. Extrude curve tapered. Creates cones and so on. So as draft angle we need to place 5. And distance will be -1. Actually, it's not a solid, so we need to type in cap, and it creates caps to create a solid. Okay, now let's go to wireframe mode, because we want to see this point, and type in copy, just a regular copy. And as a base point, let's use this one. And we need to place it 4 times more. Okay, now we're ready to go back to shaded mode. Let's select all points and delete them. To do so, let's type in cell points, command and delete. And now we are ready to create Boolean difference. So let's type in Boolean difference. And as a first step, we need to show an object we want to subtract from. Press enter and then select the set of cylinders. So now we have these welding points ready. If you want, you could soften these edges by fillet edge command. You need to type in very small radius. Let me try with this one. Alright, nice. And I want to multiply this. To the rest. Okay. So now we are ready to create the bottom part. So let's go to front view, type in mirror with copy mode. I want to use ortho method, and let's type in union and find Boolean union. Let's restore the plane position and go back to unisolate. Okay. So now let's go to top and create mirror copy of the wing. So now we are ready for creating inner shell. Let's hide an outer one and go to inner shell layer. And now let's type in revolve. Select this profile, this wavy one, and find the axis. Ready. So now let's isolate it. I want to soften these 3 edges. So let's type in fillet edge and radius, let's say it will be 8. And also we need to use chain edge. Actually, we need to do the process separately. Every edge. Chain edge. And again. So now let's go back and unisolate everything. And here we have two lines. We need to trim this shell with the help of these lines here. So here we have this hole. Let's go further by joining these parts together and thickening it by offset surface. And again, we'll be using 1.2 distance and use inside direction. That's it. Okay. Also, we'd like to soften this edge. First edge command, reduce 0.6 and chain edge option. Fine. So let's go to front view and create the bottom part. Let's go back and join them by pulling union. So now it's a single object. Right. Okay, we have outer shell, inner shell, and wings. And let's continue our work on inner parts, and actually let's use something more calm for color. Let's go to resin part now. And we need this profile and this axis as a layer there. And let's type in revolve. Use this curve and axis. Alright. So now let's go to front view and create the bottom part. Join them with their surfaces. And let's try to create an offset with distance 1.2. Ready. Okay. So let's go back. Okay. So inside we have only grip ring absent. So let's go to grip ring layer. Find this gearwise surface or circle, sorry. And also we need this and this. And actually this line, this rectangle. And this small circle. Let's isolate them. So firstly, let's create a revolve. And select this set of curves and use this axis. We managed to create multiple revolve. Here we have a solid. Also, here we have one, and this is a surface. Right. Now let's create projection of this shape to this surface. Okay. Type in project. Select curve to project, and then surface. And now we are able to trim. Use this curve, and we want to trim this part. Actually, we don't need curve anymore. And also we need to create cut here. So let's go to top, type and trim, use these two lines, and cut everything here. So now these are two parts because we used revolve. Let's join them together. Also the same situation here. And with this wire the same. So they are not solids. So let's type in command, create solids from that. Alright. Now let's thicken this grip ring with offset surface command. Let's change direction by clicking on the surface. That's it. So we are ready. Let's select everything, select object on layer, and group them. Now they behave as a single object. Let's go to front and create bottom part. Okay, let's unisolate everything. Also show these two parts. Now let's create a spacer here. Let's change the color. And go to this layer. We need to use extrude curve. Select curve. And since it's symmetric shape, let's use both sides. Solid and delete input. And let's try 4. Okay, nice. So let's find cylinder layer and this curve. Also, actually, let's hide everything but what we want to show. Okay. Also, we don't need grip ring. First of all, we need to extrude this curve in both directions. Actually, we need to constrain the wings. Then here you have this small line and this axis. Let's create a revolve to construct a cone here. As a profile, we'll be using this curve and as an axis, this one. It's not convenient to use it with ortho. Alright, so now it's a cone. And we want to add a cap to make full solid on the surface. And our task is to populate this cone to this side and also to the bottom. Right. Okay. So now let's type in difference because we want to create volume difference. And we want to extract from this cylinder the set of these cones. So that's it. Now let's create chamfer for these edges. Chamfer edge command. Let's try with reduce distance 1.2 and use this circles. Okay. Ready. And now we need to continue our work in different file because we want to create bolts. Let's go with me to bolt file. Here we have a stencil for bolt creation. Here we have working part of a bolt, its radius, washer radius, was 1 and was 2. Okay, let's create a new layer. Bolt surface. Change color and go here. First of all, let's create a spiral, and as a baseline we'll be using these axes, working part. So we need to place one point here and one here, and as a pitch we'll be using 1.4 millimeters. As the first radius we'll be using this, and also for the second radius the same. So actually we need to place it here, both curves, because spiral is a curve. And now let's type in sweep. Sweep 1. We'll be sweeping with one rail. Let's point on the rail and then on the cross section. Press enter twice. And here we need to select rod like and set an axis. And try to find this blue line. Okay, so now we have this object being ready. Actually we need to place caps to make a solid. So now we can find that it's closed solid poly surface. Right. Then let's create a cone here. So let's type revolve and draw an axis. Also we need the same. We need the same shape here. So let's type copy and place it here. Type in Boolean split and select this surface, and as a cutting object, this one. So now we have two parts, and we don't need this anymore. And if I cut it, you can find that it's still solid. Okay. So here you have this circle. Let's place another one with the same center point. We'll be using 3 points option. To place a new circle and offset it. Just slightly. Okay. Then let's create an extrusion of this curve. Let's go to this layer. Move it slightly. And let's try to split with Boolean split command. So we don't need this one and also this. Okay. Let's create an extrusion from this curve. Right to the boundary of pulse 1. And let's cut it to clipboard. Then we need to split again this part. So let's type boolean split again. Select this part and this. Delete both parts. So let's try to union these objects. Boolean union. Okay, ready. So now it's a single object. So let's place back this cylinder, and I see that we need to move this face slightly. So I type in move face command, select this one, press enter, and be sure that you are using normal. So now we are able to place this here. Let's show the rest of the parts. Actually, we need to flatten this part, so let's go to top and move the line slightly. Then let's create an extrusion with both directions, and we'll be using the same command, boolean split. Choose this and this. Right. Now let's create process. So here you have this curve and also these circular curves. So let's create sweep. These two rails, and as rails we'll be using these circular curves. And for a cross section, this curve. Okay. So now we are ready to create curves. And that's it. Let's create both the second. Let's create both the second without solid option, just a surface. Because now we want to create a patch here. So let's select this curve. And we could preview it. Okay. So let's join these surfaces together and add a cup. So now it's a solid. Right. Okay. And let's create this part by extruding the curve with solid mode. Okay. Let's union them. Now it's a single object. And we need to create a washer. So to do so, let's place C-plane. 3 points here. And the edge. Get this one. And after you're ready, let's project it to C-plane with deletion of initial object. Let's place it back to both curves, and we need to restore C-plane position. Okay, now we have these two curves. Let's select them and type in planar surface. And now we are ready to create extrusion of surface. So let's find extrude. surface command, and that's it. So now let's hide everything but the solids. So we don't need this one. And let's create a block. So we need to place an initial point. Let's copy it to clipboard and go back to the previous file. And here, let's place it. Actually, we don't need this layer anymore. Let's place it back to this position and rename it to bolt. Let's try to place this bolt here. It's a good idea to isolate the destination, position, and object. Let's do it in 2 steps. So first of all, let's use move command. I'll be using ortho. I'll place it here. Oh, actually, it took only 1 step. No, I'm wrong. I need to change the height. Okay, let's use right and do the same. Use move command. Actually, I'm using smart drag constraint to do so. Yeah, we are ready. So let's go to perspective. And isolate everything. And also we need to move it slightly to the left. Let's go to top and place it here. We can create holes in the cylinders or even find the difference with this part if you like. I would not do this. I placed a copy of cylinder here. Also, let's go to front view and create a mirror of the bolt. That's it, we are ready with the exercise. Let's hide everything with what we need. So that's it. I hope it was helpful for you, and I wish you luck with your challenges and tasks.